I mean, the question is whether they're going to give you a growth dividend. That's the question. And a secondary question is whether they're going to give you a commercial dividend. You know, they're the two questions which an analyst looking at this they'll look at an investment portfolio, whether it's from a company or a government, and they'll ask themselves that question about that investment portfolio. And, you know, my view is that we are investing in very high quality infrastructure projects at the moment. I mean, what we're doing out in Western Sydney right now is creating a new city to the west of Sydney, 2 million people living there, on the way to 3 million, turning it from a city where people have to travel an hour or more each way to get to work to a 30-minute city where jobs are local. This is investment that will deliver a dividend, and that's exactly the kind of investment that, with low interest rates, it makes sense to fund.
OK, then why is the government spending so much more debt now on schools funding when it should be putting it into good debt? And I've got to be honest about this. The inconsistency, Mr Taylor, from having previously attacked Labor for using debt to fund increases in schools funding to now this government clearly using debt to increase schools funding.
Well, let's look at the aggregate budget position when we see the budget, Peter, and that's the key issue. You know, we've said we want to keep driving that budget deficit position to improvement. When you have a good investment in a piece of infrastructure, it doesn't impact the budget in the way that recurring expenditure like education spending does. So we've got to look at the aggregate outcome on that recurring expenditure. That's the key. And we'll see that in the budget next week. It's not far off, a few days to wait. And at that point, we can have a discussion about whether we're doing the work that's necessary to bring the budget back to surplus. And, you know, I've believed for a long time that's crucial work.